Hey there, Pisces. It's Keegan. I hope you guys are doing well. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. If you're new here and you haven't watched my videos before, I hope that you will hang out and let me do a reading for you. And if you like it, I hope that you'll take a minute to subscribe to the channel and join up with the other Pisces who have subscribed. I just want to let you guys know I did pre-shuffle all of these decks that you see, but I want to shuffle a little bit on camera. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to put something up on the screen. I have decided to extend the special pricing that I did in October. For those of you who are interested in personal readings with me, you can see that information on the screen. I'm also doing a special during the remainder of Scorpio season, which is a tarot and natal chart reading. If you're interested in any of those, you can give me an email, keaghantarot@gmail.com. That is the best way to start that process. If you email about it, let me know for sure which length of reading you're interested in, or if you're interested in the tarot natal chart combo. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle a little bit and figure out which deck I want to start with. This reading will be a free shuffle reading, meaning I'll start with a deck, see what cards come out, and then I'll utilize the other decks to clarify and get further information about specific cards that I feel most drawn to. I think I'm going to start with this deck. That feels really good. So I'm just going to give this one a couple of shuffles so that it's ready for me when I want it. I always shuffle anyway as I'm going, so I just know some people like seeing the cards get mixed up before I start using them, so I like to do that at the beginning. So let's see what wants to come out for you, Pisces, in terms of initial guidance or insight for you. So we have, I surrender to a power greater than me. Pisces, it might be that you are in a situation where you really don't know what you need to do. When this card comes out, there are two cards in this deck that both deal with surrender. And this one in particular, the other one is when I think I've surrendered all I can, I surrender more, or something like that. This one, though, is really for me that place of, you know what, I really don't know. And I feel like I've done everything that I can do to try to navigate this or to try to figure it out. I'm handing it over. I'm handing it over to, a higher power. Now, whether that is, whether you're religious or whether you're spiritual, you know what that higher power represents for you. The spirituality and religion both have the same concept, right? Handing it over, trusting that it will be dealt with or you will be given guidance or insight around it. So let's try to figure out what's going on, though. What is it that you're surrendering, Pisces? What is this about? We have the Hermit coming out. We have a card that we can't see. Hermit, I feel, is clarifying this in terms of handing something over. When the Hermit card comes out, this is about us being in a place in which we are tuning inward. We are seeking out some sort of spiritual guidance, some sort of illumination around an issue or something that we are struggling with. One thing that I want to say is that what can be helpful in situations, Pisces, is shifting your energy so that instead of trying to have a situation or a relationship or some sort of event, like whatever it is, instead of trying to focus your energy on that thing and try to figure out that thing and solve that thing, if you can shift instead into the energy of the Hermit, surrendering the actual thing itself, and say to the universe or to your higher power, what I truly want from this is to gain wisdom, awareness, and to grow and expand as a person. That's what I want from this. I'm releasing this needing to work out in a specific way. I'm releasing this needing to be the end result. It's challenging because I think for each of you listening to me, you have your own thing that you're focused on, right? For some of you, I do need to say, I'm picking up on really feeling like you have almost like an addiction of sorts to something. And I think for some of you, that could be, the typical stuff in terms of alcohol or drugs. Some of you, it might be like nicotine or food, like more traditional, the things we actually do become addicted to. But for others of you, this could be an addiction to a person. This could be realizing that you have had addictions to drama or to traumatic interactions. This could be a place where you realize that you are addicted to like turmoil or strife. The notion of like surrendering to a higher power is very often, something that is one of the steps in addiction recovery. But I am picking up on that, an awareness that there's, throughout the course of your life, there's been something that you, even if you try to avoid it, even if you try to put it down, even if you try to walk away from it, eventually you pick it back up. Okay, so I just want to acknowledge that before we take a look at this card, because I feel like this card might give us insight into that energy specifically that I was picking up on. The World. Good. The World card comes out in a place where we are reaching a place of completion, where we're looking at something that is a lifelong cycle, as I mentioned, right? Something that's been going on for your whole life. And we're completing that. We are getting to a place where we're understanding, we're surrendering, we're letting it go. With the Hermit card and the World coming out as the lead cards for this, you will grow and expand from this. Sometimes growth and expansion does come at a cost, though. We have to allow things to end that need to end. We need to face things that maybe we've avoided facing. So let's take a look at the World card and see what wants to come out around that. Give me more insight into the World card. Why is it here for Pisces? Page of Cups reversed. I'm going to take that as a reversal. The reason I'm taking that reversed is because I feel like that is what needs to close out here. The Page of Cups, when it's reversed, represents a place in which we're overly sensitive, where we're dependent upon other people in ways that do not serve us, in ways in which we could be independent, but we're choosing to remain dependent upon something. The Page of Cups also can represent energies around either actual connections that are traditionally immature is the word that's used, but for me, I'm going to say like lower vibrational energies. So connections with people that aren't healthy, we'll put it that way. Okay. Or situations in which our own ability to communicate our needs, our own ability to communicate our feelings or our emotions, we do so in an immature manner. Okay, so that's one of the things that I feel is going to close out. And that could be what I was talking about in terms of realizing that in terms of lifelong, right? Again, because with the World card, I'm saying like this is something that lifelong you've struggled in being able to express your feelings. You've struggled in being able to express your needs. You've struggled in being able to separate out what people are communicating to you from what you want to hear, right? Not really getting the actual communication. And that can go two ways, right? That could be kind of that notion of like almost like rose-colored glasses, where someone is not necessarily communicating to us in the most loving or caring manner, but we kind of ignore that because we want to presume the best in people, and that is a form of immaturity. You can't always presume the best about people because sometimes people aren't treating us well. Sometimes people aren't being kind. Sometimes people are being hurtful and mean, and we need to be able to see that. Other times, when we don't hear what it is we want to hear from someone, even if that person is coming from a place of love and compassion and caring, because it isn't what we want to hear, we react in an immature manner, and we see that as an attack where it is actually trying to come through as being help. Okay? So that's what I'm getting in terms of something that you are going to be becoming aware of and closing out. And this, again, like you would look back on life and see that this is something that would repeat. Justice, reversed here. So I want to point out Hermit, World, and Justice coming out. 3 of the 4 cards so far. Major Arcana cards. So this would be an intense period of time for you. And again, these 2 cards are both me wanting to get clarifying energy on the World card. So what does Justice reverse mean in terms of something closing out a lifelong lesson? Well, it's kind of what I was talking about. Being able to look at things and realize that not everything is an attempt to treat us badly. Justice upright is about understanding clarity, being able to see the truth, even when it's something that we might not necessarily want to see. Justice upright is about understanding that there is a synergy to things. Making this choice leads to this consequence. So in terms of closing out Justice inversed, it's figuring out areas where we might not be aware of that, where we might refuse to take a look at the consequences of our decisions. We might not be willing to take responsibility for our own role in creating things that are happening to us. So again, ask yourself, are you looking at things through rose-colored glasses? Are you being too cynical? Is it a combination of both? But you have to get yourself to a place where you realize that you are in control of your life. If something feels unfair, if something feels like it's not how you want it to be, it's up to you to figure that out and to change and shift it. I want to take a look at this Justice reversed. Clarify Justice reversed. Give me more insight, please. 4 of Cups reversed here. Four of Cups reversed very much is about needing to have a new outlook on something. Taking a look at places where we've allowed ourselves to become bitter or angry, where we've taken the thinking a bit too far, and figuring out the way to get us out of that place. Makes sense, right? We've been picking up on that. You're fed up with it. You're fed up with it, but I do feel like part of what needs to happen is that you have to realize that you yourself have been causing a lot of what you're annoyed with. And taking ownership of that, taking responsibility for that is very important. This card, in the context of these cards, is very much about saying, you know what? Maybe I don't know what's best all the time. Maybe I don't see things clearly sometimes when my feelings or emotions are engaged. Maybe I don't communicate in the best way. Maybe I don't listen in the best way. Maybe there are times I allow my hope to blind me from warnings. Maybe there are times I allow my own insecurities to prevent me from receiving helpful information because I view it as someone who's judging me or attacking me. But I need to figure out a new way because this isn't working. I surrender to something greater than me. Okay? Let's just see what else wants to come out in terms of some general energy for you, Pisces. And then I think I want to switch decks. Ace of Pentacles coming out upright. For those of you who want some information in terms of your work or your career, the Ace of Pentacles coming out upright is a good card. It can represent a place in which you either are going to get a new job, you're getting some sort of raise or promotion or an additional pay, some sort of additional income coming in. If you are wondering about potentially investing in something, this card would represent sort of a nod of approval in terms of whether an investment is wise. Now, for those of you who aren't necessarily looking for that, in context of, the other stuff we have down here, the Ace of Pentacles is really about you thinking about what you want your life to look like. You taking ownership of how you want to begin the journey in building something that will eventually establish a life in which your home life, your professional life, your spiritual life, your own health, mental, emotional, spiritual health, where you've built a life that feels like what you want it to look like, moving towards that 10 of Pentacles, where you have happiness and security and stability. This is about you taking ownership yourself. Okay? There's a theme here around you seeing your own role in where you're at. You seeing your own abilities to take yourself from where you are to where you want to be. And realizing that in order to do that, you have to stop doing some of the things that sabotage your efforts. You have to be willing to trust that sometimes the universe is using all of the tools at its disposal to direct you, to try to nudge you in the direction that it can see is best for you. But you have to let cycles close out that have kept you in. Like, if you feel like you've been on repeat, if you feel like you look back over the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years, depending how old you are, and it's just been one loop, right? One cycle. You look at, friendships, you look at connections with romantic partners, you look at connections with family, you look at connections with coworkers, and you can look at it and you can see, oh my gosh, these are so many different stages of my life, or so many different parts of my life, but there's the same thing. Like, are they unstable? Right? When you look back, do you think, oh my gosh, I haven't been able to keep a job, I haven't been able to keep friendships, I haven't been able to keep a romantic partner, my relationship with my family's been up and down and in and out? Do you look back at things and say, oh my gosh, I've been miserable at this job for years, but I've stayed in it. This relationship is toxic and mean and abusive, and I've stayed in it. My family judges me and they treat me like I'm, trash. But I'm always there for them, even though they're not there for me. What is it specific to you? But there's this thing, right? Like, again, this is not a personal reading. So I try to give different examples for people so they can relate and they can see themselves in what I'm saying. But this is something your whole life, in all different areas of your life, there are things that you do that aren't good for you and that prevent you from being able to move forward. You have to get clear about what it is that you want, and you have to stop doing things that prevent you from being there. See if anything else wants to come out of this deck. Three of Cups coming out, and I think this card has come out a lot in the readings that I've been doing lately, and it makes sense considering what's going on in the world. Don't allow yourself to become isolated. It's harder now to be connected to our friends, but it is not impossible. Having a support structure in place, having people you can turn to, having people that can make you laugh, being able to have those connections and talk to people is very important. Okay? Give me more insight for Pisces, please, specific to this reading. 8 of Wands coming out here upright. This is good. This means that you will be getting some traction on this. And I do sense that you're in a place where you're really fed up. You're wanting to change things. You're wanting to make some sort of adjustment. The 8 of Wands can actually represent travel or actual movement from one place to the next. Again, it's 2020, so I don't know. Travel at your own risk, I guess. But this could represent a place where you're just wanting to, actually begin the process of mapping out where you want to go, where you want to be. But the 8 of Wands is about quick change. It means something, sudden coming in. And I think that could just be the awareness that you get. Because, again, like I'm saying, for most people who are still listening to me, you have recently just become so aware of how you have been standing in your own way. And that is what this Eight of Wands might be referring to. It's just that sudden awareness that, wait a minute, it's me. I have to surrender this to something greater than me. I have to trust in something greater than me. I have to believe that there's a plan for me that I have to be able to connect to, that I have to be able to listen to my intuition, listen to that guidance to get me to where I'm supposed to be going. For others of you, this could be that you've recently made or you're on the verge of making a very quick, drastic decision. You could be deciding to leave a relationship, move out of a house that you share, move into a different location. That could be what's going on for some of you. Give me more insight for Pisces, please. Five of Cups coming out here. Again, don't allow yourself to focus too much on the past, right? The past is the past. You've done what you've done. You've made the decisions that you made. You can't time travel back. You can't alter any of those things. All that you can do is make a promise to yourself that you will do better moving forward, that you will take the things that you've learned, the things that you now understand, and you will implement them, and you won't repeat the mistakes of the past. But you can't go back and undo the past, right? You can't do that. Any more insight for Pisces, please? Devil card coming out here. Kind of the theme of what we've been talking about, right? An avoidance of looking at one's own responsibility. A projection of things onto other people. The Devil reversed is about making decisions to look at and heal our trauma and pain, looking at places where we are the cause of our problems, looking at the dark side of ourselves, looking at our own toxic behaviors. With the Devil coming out reversed, it's about trying to avoid those things through either a focus on materialistic things, thinking that if we have enough stuff, we'll feel better. It can be looking at other people and feeling jealous or envious of what they have rather than going after those things ourselves. It can be blocking ourselves off, being very greedy with our time, with our affection, being greedy with our money. But the Devil upright is about still being stuck in some of those darker, more toxic behaviors. Now, the other thing I will say here with the Devil card, the Devil, when it's upright, represents a place of being trapped in a sexual, lustful connection, almost to the point of being obsessed or addicted. I mean, I mentioned addiction at the beginning, right? This is about addiction. Being addicted to potentially the lustful aspect or sexual aspect of a relationship and ignoring the negative parts to it. Not for everyone, but for some of you, that's going to ring true. For others of you, this is just about addiction. Coming out as confirmation for what I was saying at the beginning. What are you addicted to? How can you break that addiction? I want to switch decks here and see what wants to come out of this deck, and then we'll pull a final oracle card for you. Any insight into the near future for Pisces? Success around this endeavor. Page of Pentacles coming out reversed here. So Pisces, here's the thing. This is hard work. You have to put in the effort. You have to put in the effort to learn about yourself, understand yourself, face the things that you've been wanting to avoid. You can't ignore this anymore. You can't avoid this anymore. And surrendering it over to a power greater than you doesn't mean like it just magically gets solved and figured out. It means that you have to then listen to guidance. You have to listen to what the universe is trying to communicate to you. You have to pay attention when people show up, right? Like you chose to watch this reading. This message is trying to come through to you. You have to listen to what's being said in this reading, right? Another page coming out here, Page of Swords. We have 2 cards we can't see. We'll take a look at them at the end and pull an oracle card to wrap this up. The Page of Swords here, I think, is really just talking about the need for you to understand how some of the confusion that you might feel in your mind, some of the uncertainty that you might have in your mind, is really a trick that you play on yourself to avoid having to deal with facing realities of situations, the truth of situations that you might not want to see as they actually are. But you're really not confused inside your own mind. It's your mind. You're just not choosing to allow yourself to have that clarity. Final 2 cards here. Page of Cups coming out with Death. Here's what I get from this, Pisces. Allowing this process, right? This whole process that I've explained here really is the Death card. It's about allowing things to end, letting things go that don't serve you, allowing new things to come into your life, being open to them, allowing for your own self to grow and transform, allowing a rebirth of who you are, allowing your life to be transformed, okay? If you do that, there is the potential for a new opportunity in love. Because after going through this sort of process, you are a new person. You're new. You've learned the lessons. You've seen the patterns. You've broken those cycles. You've allowed things to come to a close. You have the World card and the Death card. If you allow all of this stuff with this Devil card to be transformed and come to a close, you open yourself up for something new that you have not experienced before. So, Pisces, let's get a final oracle card for you. I'm just going to shuffle and do a cut and pull one. Again, if you want to look at this more in depth, specific to you, investigate certain people, feel free to reach out to me. When I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. You have to focus on loving yourself, caring for yourself, trusting yourself, believing in yourself. Stop being your own worst enemy. Okay? Pisces, I love you guys. I'll be back soon with another reading for you. Thank you for watching.